I'm in Fora apart hotel. It's in Datca and it's on the Datça peninsula in Turkey. Beautiful, beautiful place. Only just arrived, so this is the view from the balcony of the hotel I'm staying at. The Fora hotel's quite a family affair. I met the father, who's the owner of the place. He spoke really good English. The son, Burak, was working on reception when I arrived. Very, very helpful young man. Spoke absolutely perfect English. And also the wife's brother, wife of the owner, he worked on the reception as well. It seems to be the ethos of this region that developing tourism is through family pensions, small hotels that have integrated well into the environment. As a solo traveller, I was accepted well, and I certainly occupied a favoured apartment designed for larger occupancy. As always with my travels, slightly out of season, favourable rates are available, certainly towards the end of the season. For entertainment, I didn't have to go far. It seemed to come to me. This guy obviously has just come from his training course on health and safety. When I saw him yesterday, he was on the next palm tree, still on the top rung of the ladder, but with both hands on a petrol chainsaw. They must have taken the chainsaw off him, as it was obviously too dangerous. I did take a look, and there was nobody daft enough to hold the ladder at the bottom, just in case he fell off and landed on top of them. The major advantage of using the Fora Hotel is obvious from the stunning balcony views. I could easily have stayed here all day admiring the scenery. The light conditions change so much throughout the day, with the sunrise colours changing by the minute. It's absolutely beautiful. I haven't doctored the photos or the video. It's exactly as the camera picked it up. The whole bay is naturally lit with the light from the sunrise. I can't use the words beautiful and spectacular enough. In the evening, the main beach is lit with lanterns and the trees, and the meals are served at restaurant tables on the beach. It's not a particularly long beach, and only half a dozen restaurants use the beach area for dining, but there are lots of other smaller restaurants and cafes along the coastal path. It's also pretty close to the town centre, so if you didn't want to dine on the coast, just the second line in, and there's lots more cake shops, cafe shops, small bars. You don't have to sit out here and look at this amazing view. It's getting late in the season, and whilst it's not cold, there are a few wood burning fires along the beach. Must be there for those that feel the chill breeze coming in from the sea. Most of the restaurants display the fish and mezzes, and if you just want to be a tourist and go for a lovely walk along the coast in the evening on a warm, balmy evening, do what the rest of the tourists do, take photos of the fish, the mezzes, and not necessarily go in and spend a lot of money. I did actually go in and have a meal, but there's lots of tourists just wandering about, maybe the locals, but certainly all admiring the view, the scenery. It's quite stunning. It's something you don't see a lot of elsewhere, people dining on the beach. I sat inside and just had a small meal and a beer and did some people watching. Outside the hotel is an outside gym, not sophisticated equipment, but what a workout with a view. The main beach is called Tulip, and wherever you take photographs or videos along the beach, the Fora hotel is nearly always in the background because of its commanding location almost on the beach. The Datca peninsula is some 80 kilometres long and runs from Marmaris to Knidos, between the Aegean Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. Datça town faces south on the Mediterranean. The mountain range in the background is part of the peninsula, and this is the area that you have to travel down by local bus to get to Datca. I took the one from Marmaris, and it's quite a journey over the top there. As we said earlier, you've got the Aegean on one side, very narrow peninsula. So you look to the right, you get the Aegean, and you look to the left, and you've got a sheer drop into the Mediterranean. This part of the marina looks as if it's only private boats, maybe the odd small fishing boat. I think these are probably the boats of people that live nearby, local people possibly use them just to travel to work and back. The odd pleasure cruiser goes out from here, but I think the commercial side, the domestic side, are split by this little peninsula. Just walking around the harbour at Datca, very quiet, slightly out of season as it's coming up to the second week in October. Still pretty, still hot, got to be around the 30-degree mark today. It's a nice place, I've enjoyed it, it's quiet, hot. What more could you want? These boats situated in Datca Marina will take you across the 5-kilometre stretch to the Greek island of Sima. Traffic is encouraged here because the authorities have slashed the mooring rates, and it's definitely worth a day trip. During the main tourist season, these boats would travel daily, and there'd be loads and loads of tourists not only getting on the boats but using the cafes by the marina as well, and it all at a reasonable rate. But at the end of the season, only a few tourists around. It may be just once a week that one of the boats will go, and with only half a dozen fare-paying passengers, the fee will be considerably higher per person. But nevertheless, you get the whole boat to just a few of you, and it's a lovely trip. Not all the boat owners make a living from the tourist trade. Still a few people, a few fishermen. Obviously the boats are in, there's one or two on the quayside there that are mending the nets. But that's the variation of Datca. The big boats come in as well. People obviously with money, they still use the facilities. The lion here that's on display at the moment fascinates me. I really need to look up the history of it, but I believe it came from an excavation at Knidos, or it's certainly a copy of the excavation at Knidos. Couple of small beaches around Datca, two that I've come across so far, and then the main beach. But the main beach is usually set up with restaurant tables and people dine there in an evening. It's all lit up. It looks wonderful from the view I've got from the hotel anyway. The three small beaches of Datca are basically right in town. Datcha's not that big, it's a coastal town really. They're all within a short walking distance of each other. The one that I'm currently walking along is Tulip Beach, and this is on the marina side. It's got a few things going for it. There are certainly a lot of places to walk, a nice pathed walkway. The sea, I'm surprised there's not more people in the sea, because it's actually heated by thermal springs that run into the sea just at this point. Beach is a very unique feature, which is in its natural hot water pool in the springs, in a totally natural setting by the Mediterranean, and about 100 metres in diameter and some 2 metres deep. The water flowing underground from the mountain backdrop is around 40 degrees and contains dissolved minerals, claimed to cure many ailments. It was originally built some 200 years ago as a pool to serve a mill, which is now a cafe and an occasional music venue during the tourist months. The pool feeds a small waterfall of about a metre high, and just enough to get underneath for a hot mineralised shower. It is said to be pouring up to 3,000 litres a minute into the Mediterranean. I'm absolutely amazed that there are no signs anywhere to promote the thermal springs, as it's free, and generally at tourist resorts there would be a fee for this service. Today was to go on to one of the ferries, maybe go down to Knidos, which is an archaeological site, a site of historical importance. As you can see, the boat's empty, and at the moment there's no tourists around, so maybe we won't get there today. Just around the corner from here is the third beach of Datca, called Alta Beach. So today we will go and take a stroll along its paved walkway. This again is an absolutely superb place. It's right behind the hotel where I'm staying. There's nowhere far to walk. If you stay at the Fora hotel, it's all within short walking distance. The line of floating corks there are to keep the bathers and the sailing vessels separate. People are not allowed to transgress onto either side. The beach is a little pebbly, very, very shallow, but perfect for a long walk and then a quick dip into the sea. The walkway goes quite a long way, and there are quite a few resting places and benches and cafes along the way. You'll also find a few fishermen on the piers and jetties, one or two standing on the beach doing a bit of fishing. There's also a few expensive looking hotels on this part of Datça. Must be quite popular.